All right, friends, it is time to talk about my very favorite topic, indie music, one of my most disliked videos of all time that I've ever made. I made a video called The Problem with Indie Music, where I essentially said, I feel like I'm getting catfished with indie rock because I would read these articles in Rolling Stone or Spin back in the day where they would talk about, you know, the buzzsaw guitars and snarling vocals and how this band was like a raucous cacophony that was putting a gloved fist right in the mouth of the rock and roll establishment. Me being a young kid into punk and hardcore, I was like, oh, fuck yeah, that sounds cool. Let's check it out. And then I press play on it, and it's this. I'm like, wait, what? What? This is what you guys are calling buzzsaw guitars? Like, I feel like I've been deceived. Something went wrong here. You know, for whatever reason, it always just kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. And since then, of course, indie rock has become synonymous, to me anyway, with a lot of these like pretentious art school types that all look like they're baristas, even if they're not. So to me, that's kind of the problem with indie rock, is that it's always kind of presented itself as something far more edgy and aggressive than it actually is. And people were not happy with that one. They really, really did not like that video. And so I thought, well, why not give it a second chance? You know, I've heard a lot of indie rock over the years, but if I'm being honest, you know, I haven't really listened to it with sort of an open mind in quite a while. So I asked on Twitter, I said, hey, what indie songs should I check out? And I get a lot of good responses. So I thought, let's check them out and see if perhaps I made an error. Maybe there's some indie songs that I like a little bit more than I realized. And who knows? Maybe I was wrong about the whole genre. Maybe indie rock is actually great. Let's find out.
Thanks to Omaze for sponsoring today's video. Stay tuned for a word from them later on. Festival lineups full of dusty old dinosaur bands. They kind of suck, but you know what doesn't? Travel. So I am very excited to be working with Omaze to offer you the chance to win an Airstream Caravelle 20 FB and Ford F-150 to support a great cause, the Bob Woodruff Family Foundation. Head to omaze.com/Finn Mckenty. There's also a link in the description. And enter now because the experience closes on December 30th at 11:59 p.m. PST. And I gotta say, this Airstream is amazing. If you like travel, it's pretty much everything you could wish for. Like, imagine camping on the beach in just full-on luxury. It has room for 4 people, so you can bring everyone. Unless you have a really big family, then maybe you gotta kick some people out. And you'll be supporting a great cause. The Bob Woodruff Family Foundation ensures that our nation's impacted veterans, service members, their families, and caregivers have access to the highest level of support and resources that they have earned for as long as they need it. Great cause that I completely support. So for your chance to win an Airstream Caravelle 20 FB and a Ford F-150, and to support a great cause, the Bob Woodruff Family Foundation, just head to omaze.com/Finn Mckenty or hit the link in the description and enter now. And remember, the experience closes on December 30th at 11:59 p.m. PST. You do not want to miss this.
The first band a lot of people mentioned is Arctic Monkeys. I will admit, I do not know their catalog really at all. I mean, obviously I've heard the band, but I've never really like actually listened to them. So let's check this song out, Do I Want to Know by Arctic Monkeys. The early stuff is better? I don't know. Well, you tell me wrong. So what song should I listen to then? If this song is bad, what Arctic Monkeys song should I listen to? You tell me. I feel like no matter what I listen to, they're going to say that I didn't listen to the right song. But tell me. I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor. Okay, let's try that. I just kind of like really slept on them. I remember when they came out and I just didn't really care. I do know that this band was a real kind of gateway band for a lot of people to get into alternative music in general, but especially indie rock. This is from 2006. So this was like pretty early in their career, right? So let's check this out.
We're Arctic Monkeys. This is I Bet You Look Good on the Dance Floor.
Okay.
Don't believe
Thanks for letting us know. Okay. Sounds kind of punky. I'm offended by how high he's holding his guitar and the fact that he's playing a Strat, but I'll allow it for now. I like the snare sound. Sounds like a local band so far. I mean, I don't hate this, but to me, this is a good example of what I like to call the Olive Garden effect. Meaning, if you've only ever eaten at McDonald's, you probably think that Olive Garden is really fancy and elevated and amazing, right? But if you've eaten somewhere nicer, you're like, Olive Garden's not really that great. And I feel the same way about music like this. We'll listen to it a bit more here. Yeah, sounds like a demo that needs a facelift. You probably think this sounds really edgy and cool, you know, if you're 12 and before this you were listening to Jonas Brothers and Selena Gomez or something like that. This probably was like really mind-blowing, but by the time this came out, I had been listening to hardcore and stuff for, you know, 15 years or something like that. So it's like, to me, this is kind of like, it's not aggressive enough to be aggressive, but it's also not pop enough to be pop. To me, it's just kind of in the middle, and I'm like, it's all right. I don't hate it, but it doesn't really blow me away, you know? But I'm not putting this down. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying this came out when I was, 28 or something like that. I can totally understand if you were like 12 or 13 and you heard this, it might be really mind-blowing. And, you know, this might have been an incredible, experience for you. And I'm not putting that down. I'm just saying, for me personally, it's a little bit kind of neither here nor there. Yeah, so I would say I understand maybe why other people like that band, but for me personally, I was at a point in my life where this was just not compelling to me. Also, I think I care a lot about lyrics, and a lot of the lyrics in these bands are just kind of, especially this generation of the sort of hipster bands, really just kind of leave me cold. I feel like they're not really about anything, or at least not anything that connects with me. You know, I certainly don't think it's bad. I can appreciate how rough around the edges it is. I like that it's kind of raw, but I wouldn't necessarily choose to listen to this. What is next here? How about Vampire Weekend? I actually like this band a lot. I don't know if I know this particular song. A-Punk by Vampire Weekend. This is probably one of their, from 2008. So this is one of their very first songs. I think I heard them in 2009. I actually like Vampire Weekend quite a bit. I do know this song. Okay, I do know this song. Interesting thing about Vampire Weekend, which I discovered years later, is they're from like upstate New York or something, right? Or like Long Island or something. Basically like rich white kids doing their version of high life, which is a genre of music from Africa. Like you can hear this is Vampire Weekend. Especially like listen to this part. So kind of interesting. I don't think that invalidates them or anything though, to me personally, but I did not realize that at the time. But I think it's a great song. I like it. Really catchy. I can also appreciate the preppy vibe here with their matching Gap sweaters. Very 2008. I can appreciate that. And it is very derivative of Paul Simon too, but I also love Paul Simon. This looks like a Gap commercial, doesn't it? Or Old Navy commercial. It's like, get your cotton sweaters this winter at Old Navy. The lyrics, again, kind of, about an apartment in Washington Heights. This is like some seriously like WASP shit, about apartments in fucking New York City. Definitely not something that I identify with, but I actually do like this band. I think they have a sense of like, they have that high life rhythm, which is interesting to me. And I think they have a sense of melody that I respond to. So I'm a fan. This is absolutely the soundtrack to gentrification. There's no question about that. When the white kids that listen to Vampire Weekend move into your part of Brooklyn, the rent's about to go the fuck up. No question about that. This is gentrification core, but I'm a fan of Vampire Weekend. As far as like indie stuff goes, I like them quite a bit. Like this makes me think I need to listen to Vampire Weekend more because I do like this band quite a bit. So good suggestion from Rue Crossing on Twitter. Thank you. Next one we have Joshua Coakley suggested Modest Mouse. This is a long drive for someone with nothing to think about in the lonesome, crowded West. He said, really raw records, not highly produced, and great vocals and lyrics. Now, I have not listened to this band in quite a while, but one thing I like to point out about them is they're from the town of Issaquah, Washington, one of the most expensive parts of the Seattle area, which is expensive enough as it is. For example, you can see this 2,400 square foot house in Issaquah, built in 2000. So 23-year-old house in Issaquah, gonna run you about $1.4 million. That's where they're from. Or maybe if you don't like that, how about this? Nice little rambler here for only $1.6 million if you're on a budget. Also built in 2000. So home of Modest Mouse, also home of Costco. This is where Costco's headquarters are. Big fan of Issaquah. Love the East Side. I've not listened to Modest Mouse in a long time, but I had a roommate who was really into them. She would listen to them all the time back in like 98, 99, and I haven't listened to them since then. And this is a true story. This is from 96. I think this might have been the album that she liked. True story. The first time I heard her listening to this, I literally thought it was a joke. The vocals were so bad that I thought this was one of our friends fucking around. Now, I haven't listened to this since then, so let's see if maybe 20 years has changed my opinion.
I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6, 6. Running around the neighborhood, patrolling. Well-intentioned but bad advice. Hell,
A little rough so far. Let's see if it gets better. Ooh. This is not good. My ears. Okay, this is as bad as I remember it being. She was really into all those like emo bands like Mineral and Braid and all that kind of stuff. And to me, this sounds like a worse version of those bands. That's pretty hard to listen to. Some people are telling me that there's other songs that are more representative. Float On. Okay, let's listen to Float On. That's not good, but let's give it another try. I'm feeling some Wes Anderson type of vibes from this video. Oh, I know this song. Okay. Yeah. This definitely makes me think of like car commercials or maybe the intro to Loveline or something. The video is cool.
well, you just laughed it off, but it's all okay.
One problem that I have with this genre in general, and this song is maybe a good example of it, is I feel like it's very affected, meaning that they're sort of trying to be like deliberately naive. It's like feigned naivete. They're trying to sound more unsophisticated than they really are. These are like sophisticated musicians trying to sound unsophisticated, you know, the blah, 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 blah kind of thing. And I'm just not into that. I'd rather listen to actual outsider music than people trying to play the role of outsiders, if that makes sense. Quirky, yes, that's a good way to put it. Very quirky. It's a catchy little hook there. I agree with that. Exactly. I'd rather listen to actual apes playing a song rather than competent musicians pretending they're apes. Exactly. This is really representative of the Wes Anderson era of indie. The Wes Anderson era of indie was before the American Apparel era of indie. This is like Seth Cohen indie, the Mustaches, Urban Outfitters, and Wes Anderson era. You know, the guys wearing these like velvet smoking jackets and stuff. That era of indie was just... it's just too like dorky and affected for me. At least the American Apparel era of indie, at least those people were like cokeheads that partied. You know, I can respect that. They went hard. They'll go do blow in the bathroom with you, you know, and stay up until 6 a.m. until their heart is ready to fucking explode. I can respect that. But these are the kind of people that, you know, smoke clove cigarettes and drink fucking craft beer. If you're gonna party, party. Like Viper says, y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. That's how I feel about this. It's a cool video. I like that. But I hate this song. I hate this style. This like fake naivete thing. I can't get into it. But shout out to Issaquah. Anybody from Issaquah is a friend of mine. So even though I don't like this band, I'm going to say that I like Modest Mouse just because they're from Issaquah. Shout out to my boys from the East Side. Okay, next one. I have no idea who this is, but I thought this was a good reply from Rachel Andrews. I can't believe nobody has said Sweet Disposition by the Temper Trap, which I think is quintessential. They played this song in an intro at a college orientation I went to, so it always gives me young and free vibes. There you go. That's the reality of so-called indie music, is they use it in car commercials and college orientations, or like big tech companies will use it in their presentation about diversity. That's what indie rock is now. This is how toothless indie rock is, that it's fucking college orientation music. It's also in 500 Days of Summer, so if that doesn't scream basic indie, I don't know what does. Good point, Rachel. That is about as basic indie as it gets. I have no idea what this is, so let's check it out. This is Sweet Disposition by the Temper Trap. I was expecting this to be Shut Up and Dance With Me. It's a very similar melody in the intro. Bobby Shmurda was our senior class song. Shout out to your senior class. I respect it. Very young and free college orientation. I'm watching this and just thinking about all the amazing conversations we're going to have in my dorm room, but all the new friends I'm going to make from all over the country. We're going to have so many meaningful conversations in our dorm room. We're going to stay up all night talking about art and philosophy. We're going to learn so much about ourselves. And this song is going to be playing in the background the whole time. Indie rock is just if Zooey Deschanel was a song. That is accurate. I mean, I don't hate this. Yeah, it sounds like YouTube royalty-free music. I definitely prefer this to Modest Mouse. At least this has melody. It's not like the fucking braying donkey vocals. I don't love this, but there's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't bother me. I still love those U2 Innocence songs. Yes. This is very U2. I could imagine, you know, college freshmen indie girls, like getting a fake ID, going to some club, having like one beer and like, you know, really just getting into this song on the dance floor. It's like, this is the best night of my life. And then crying, getting wasted off one beer and crying, I'm an alcoholic, I had a beer. Oh, my mom is going to be so disappointed with me. The Perks of Being a Wallflower is their favorite movie. Yes. I mean, I don't hate this. There's nothing wrong with this. That's right. She's crying because Josh didn't return her calls. Josh, you said we were going to stay together in college, and now I just feel like it's only been a week and we're already growing apart. You moved on so fast, Josh. Come on. Oh. Well, I don't hate this song. It just, you know, it doesn't really do much for me, but I don't dislike it. I did see a man bun though, and as soon as the zany hats and the man buns start becoming part of indie rock, that's where I got a problem. But yeah, not a bad song. Nothing wrong with it, but I wouldn't necessarily choose to listen to it, but I wouldn't be mad if it came on when I was waiting for my wife at H&M. Okay. Next one we have from Will Carey. He has suggested Sound of Settling by Death Cab and Is There a Ghost by Band of Horses are favorites of mine. Simple, catchy melodies. I find them relaxing. Death Cab is a good one to bring up. I absolutely love this band, and especially this album. Death Cab is 10 out of 10. I don't actually listen to Death Cab very often, but if I had to rank them, I would put them up with Pantera and Blink and Hatebreed, as far as like they're on that level to me. Death Cab is an absolutely god tier band to me, and I fucking love this song. Yes, incredible lyrics. Some of the most like brutally sad, depressing lyrics ever written. It's almost hard for me to listen to Death Cab because the lyrics are so like dark and sad. Love this chorus. Very mid-2000s Wes Anderson indie video. And Death Cab, they are from Bellingham. That's right. Shout out to Bellingham, Washington. Proud tradition of indie rock here in Bellingham. I was born in Bellingham, a beautiful place. Look at this. How could you not love beautiful Bellingham? The city on the bay here. I mean, look how gorgeous this is. What a great place to be born. The city here, there's this nice little boardwalk here. Beautiful, beautiful town. Proud to say that the town of Bellingham created me and one of the best indie bands of all time, Death Cab for Cutie. It's kind of expensive now, though. Bellingham's very expensive now. To me, this is like what indie should be. It's pretty and it's relaxing and it's chill, but it's not pop. I mean, they have really dark, brutal lyrics that sort of set it apart from music that might be equally relaxing. It's that duality of like upbeat yet really dark at the same time that I think makes them work so well. Lots of hooks too. What a great chorus. Yeah, dark, brutal lyrics with an upbeat melody. I don't remember the singer's name, but I would like to talk to him about his thoughts on death sometime, because it seems like death, like fear of death, is kind of the common theme in his lyrics. And it seems like something he's probably thought about quite a bit. And I would like to know his thoughts on that. You guys always ask me questions like this. Why is this band acceptable to Finn while all the others aren't? I don't have an answer for that. And I can't justify on a chart everything I like and everything I don't, you know? And I'm just telling you what I like. I don't know. The way that people act about this is like, if I like one thing in a genre, then I'm obligated to like everything in a genre. And that's just not how it works, right? I mean, do you like everything in every genre? Of course not. You like some stuff, you don't like other stuff. And that's okay. You know, you're not obligated to like everything in a genre just because you like one thing. The point here, Cab For Cutie, 10 out of 10, all-time great band to me, up there with Pantera and Blink and Hatebreed and all those other bands that I love. 10 out of 10, S tier, goated band. Absolutely love them, especially this album and this song. It's my favorite Death Cab song, so I'm glad someone mentioned it. Another band that some people have mentioned to me many times over the years, I've heard the name here, from Yo Roman Chill, Pity Sex for the Cult Following. I have heard this name come up many times. Never actually listened to Pity Sex before, I don't think, but I've heard their name come up many times. So I just randomly picked this because it was a popular song. This is called Wind Up by Pity Sex. I don't know anything about this band other than I've heard their name. Okay. This sounds like kind of like Weezer, kind of like a more emo Weezer. I like this. I feel like this is maybe almost more like, pop punk, Midwest emo kind of. This doesn't really sound like indie to me. I like this, but it doesn't really sound like indie to me. Like they sound like they would play with Title Fight, you know? Yeah, a little shoegazy. They sound more like they would play with Title Fight than, you know, Modest Mouse. I like it. It's a nice vocal melody. This is cool. One reason that it makes me think that these guys must have come from like the hardcore scene or something, or at least whoever mixed this, like listen to the drums. Those are like very aggressive, like hardcore drums. Indie bands don't have drums like that. Like those really punchy, aggressive drums. Oh, Pity Sex are people from the hardcore scene. Well, that makes sense then. Were they playing Samurai Showdown? Underrated game. It does look like a good arcade, I agree. Yeah, I think this is cool. I personally wouldn't call this indie. To me, it's a little bit more, you know, shoegaze, post-hardcore kind of thing, but whatever. I don't mind this. I would listen to this. I think it's cool. Next up, somebody whose musical opinions I take very, very seriously, which is Skylar Accord from Issues. You guys know how much I love Issues, and Sky is one of the most talented musicians I have ever known. He is just ridiculously good at everything related to music. He knows everything about every genre. The dude is like a musical god to me, so anything that Sky recommends to me, I'm going to take very seriously. Here's what he said. Women are the undisputed rulers of indie these days. I'd check out Circle the Drain by Soccer Mommy, Tenderness by Jay Som, Amoeba by Clyro, Not by Big Thief, all are from the last 5 years. Pretty iconic for the genre and really great songwriting. So let's check out the first one he recommended, Circle the Drain by Soccer Mommy. Let's check it out. I'm a sucker for these like lo-fi VHS videos. Even if it's played out, I still like it. Okay, I like it so far. That's Soccer Mommy, that's her. This reminds me of Liz Phair from the 90s. I'm okay with this so far. Sounds like good 90s pop rock. If you take a VHS camera and shoot footage of doing just about anything, it makes a cool video with a song like this. You know, it's just something about that aesthetic. You can't go wrong. This is cool. See, I can get into this. Like, what I don't like is the Franz Ferdinand, Modest Mouse, you know, blah, 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 blah. you know, this like deliberately atonal, obnoxious kind of shit. I can't get into that. This is maybe not my favorite thing in the world necessarily, but this is cool. There's nothing wrong with this. It's pleasant. Yeah, she has a nice voice. This is pleasant. I don't like Talking Heads tribute bands. That's a good way to put it, yes. I hate the Talking Heads family tree. Personally, I would like to hear maybe some more dynamics or hooks in this song, but I also understand that sort of the nature of this sound is that there aren't a lot of dynamics and hooks. You know, it's very sort of like, these are vibe songs, right? And vibe songs by definition don't really have hooks, so I get it. Not bad. I'm on board with that. I don't know that I would choose to listen to it necessarily, but I don't dislike it. All right, next, Phil Cotard, I guess, suggested Passion Pit. That's an artist that I have heard a few times over the years, but I don't know that I've ever really given them a close listen. I know that a lot of the Zoomer TikTok types like Passion Pit, so let's check them out. This is Take a Walk by Passion Pit. Come on, guys. 12-second intro. I like the dog. Man, Basset Hounds, very underrated dog. Or is this a beagle? A beagle basset, maybe? I don't know. Feels like it's too long to be just a beagle. Whatever it is, 10 out of 10 dog. I love those floppy ears. Can't go wrong with that. Like, do you like petting dogs' ears? The big floppy ears like that? I could just sit there and pet their ears all day. Basset Hounds are great. Underrated dog. Also, this video is exactly where I think that people who listen to this kind of music live. You know, these sort of like upper middle class subdivision kind of neighborhoods. This is what I think of as the quintessential like mainstream indie neighborhood. Okay, I like this so far. Catchy, it's upbeat. All right, yeah. I can get into this. It sounds like someone else that I can't put my finger on, or maybe it just sounds like a lot of indie stuff. I don't know, but maybe not the most original thing in the world, but I like it. Once the chorus hits, I'll know it. Okay, let's listen for the chorus. I don't recognize it, but this is fine. This is relaxing. This makes me think of indie girls who drink too much because they hate their office job, and you know, they just sort of can't wait to get off of work and go to the indie bar with all their indie friends and listen to this kind of stuff and forget their troubles. You know, bland, inoffensive, nothing wrong with this. It doesn't really grab me, but I don't think there's anything really wrong with it either. Forever 21 core, yes. You know, you meet those kind of girls and you're like, well, why don't you do something about it? Why do you just stay in this shitty job that you hate? And, you know, this kind of music just makes me think of these people that just don't have the drive to do anything with their life. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with, they're just sort of like stuck in a rut. Probably, you know, their parents paid for them to go to some middle of the road Midwest state school. They just sort of are like drifting through life, and they sort of seem vaguely unsatisfied with their life, but they don't really have the balls to do anything about it. You know, and I'm not like talking shit or criticizing them. It's just, that's what I think of a lot of these people, just sort of vaguely dissatisfied with life, but they won't do anything about it.
I'm just too much a coward to admit when I'm beneath that.
You know, this would be the promo, like if Target is advertising like 30% off shoes for Labor Day weekend, maybe they could use this song. Yeah, I'm all right with it. Another one, Polka Dot Poncho, suggested another artist that seems to be pretty popular with the Zoomer TikTokers is Tame Impala. I have heard Tame Impala before. It's just one guy, right? I actually like him. And another thing that I like about a lot of indie stuff, I think their videos are well done. Probably because everybody who listens to this kind of music goes to art school, so they have a lot of options. Everybody's friend is a designer or filmmaker or whatever. But like, I really like this aesthetic. You know, these like collegiate letters colored in with marker or something. It's cool treatment. I like it. This is The Less I Know, The Better by Tame Impala. A film by Canada. Well, more dogs. I'm on board with that. Got some huskies. Huskies are very naughty, but good dogs. I like them. They're just too much work for me. They got too much attitude, but they're good dogs. High quality dogs. I would like this song to start. I think that they've let this film... Oh, whoa! What is he doing? Wait a minute. Why does he have his head there? Is he looking for something, or what's... Did he drop his key? I don't understand what's going on here. I'm gonna ask my mom if she can explain, because this is confusing. What? Why would he do that? What's wrong with him? He lost the basketball. That's what it is. The color in this video is very nice. This is another vibe song, right? Like, there's no real hooks or dynamics. It's just vibe. It's atmosphere. Yeah, I agree with that. I feel like this would be really good if you're high as shit. It would be awesome. Absolutely. Like, if you just took a Xan and you felt like you're melting into the couch and this song was on, you'd be like, oh, God, this song is fucking amazing. And look at that paint. Tame Impala's all vibe songs. Horny vibe songs. There's a lot of horniness in this. The indie people, they're afraid to just say it. They're like, I want to get it in. We know it. We can tell from your video, bro. You want to get it in. There's nothing wrong with that. Just say it. Horny art students, exactly. Tame Impala and chill. This doesn't bother me at all. I find it pleasant. Again, somebody pointed out that I think what I don't like is the talking heads school of indie, which is true. The deliberately atonal, you know, wonky kind of indie. Not into that. I don't know that I would choose to listen to this necessarily, but I don't dislike it at all. Nothing wrong with this. Yeah, I want to come over and take some tasteful nudes. Exactly. That's the soundtrack to this. There we have it. Okay. Artax AF suggested Bloc Party. I am, of course, familiar with Bloc Party. I remember this song from back in the 2000s. I will say, I don't like this band, but they were absolutely a game-changing band, for sure. Even though they just sound like Gang of Four, pretty much a Gang of Four cover band. This is catchy. It's an objectively good song. It is car commercial music. I hate this band, but it is objectively, like, well done. This is way too Gang of Four Talking Heads for me. Too much, like, atonal 80s energy for me. But I do think they did it very well. I just can't get into this at all. Somebody mentioned that they're on tour now with Paramore, and you can tell that Paramore has been listening to a lot of Bloc Party recently, because their new shit pretty much sounds like this. Which, to me, is not a good thing. I feel like the kind of people who are into indie music are always calling stuff amazing. And when they call something amazing, that is pretty much a guarantee that I'm not going to care about it. And I remember, this is the band, when did this come out? Like 2005, something like that. When all the people I knew who were into this stuff were talking about how amazing it was, I knew that I was going to be like, not for me. So I listened to it and I was like, it's a Gang of Four, but maybe a little bit more modern, maybe, but pretty much just sounds like Gang of Four to me. I'll pass. Not for me, but I do respect it. I think they're a good band. I just wouldn't necessarily choose to listen to it personally. The last one to talk about is a band that many people have suggested to me over the years. JJ Gobacho has suggested the Pixies. Hey, and this is one of those bands. They're maybe the epitome of one of those bands that I would read about back in the day, like I said, in Rolling Stone or Spin or whatever, where they would refer to them as this super important, amazing band that, you know, everyone has to know about. And I'd be like, oh, well, all right, I guess I should check this out. And every time I've tried listening to them, I was like, I don't get it. Like, what, am I missing something? This is Where Is My Mind by the Pixies. This is like their kind of like classic album, right? This is the one everyone says is amazing. Oh, this song. I know this song. I don't like this song at all. Way too Modest Mouse for me. I mean, maybe this is the origin of that Modest Mouse style. You know, I don't get it.
Where is my mind?
The vocals in this song remind me of what petting a cat the wrong way does to a cat. That's pretty much how I feel too. Yeah, there's nothing I like about this. It's just like, those vocals are like nails on a chalkboard. I don't get because I don't have a refined palate. That's fine. Then I don't have a refined palate. That's okay. This is just very slow to me. Again, I don't like stuff that's in the middle. This is a great example of the Olive Garden effect. Like, if I want to listen to something that's weird and difficult, I'm going to listen to the Meat Shits or Have a Hedge or something like that. If I want to listen to something that's really weird and difficult. If I want to listen to something that's pretty and melodic, then I'm going to listen to Ariana Grande or Madonna. Stuff like this is just sort of like neither here nor there. It feels unresolved and indecisive to me. And I guess that's my problem. I like things that are committed and decisive. And to me, this feels like it's not committed to anything. It's not really weird enough to be weird. It's not accessible enough to be accessible. It's not aggressive enough to be aggressive. It's not pretty enough to be pretty. It's just kind of like right in the middle. And to me, that's like, as they would say in art school, when I went to art school, they would say it's indecisive. That's what I feel about it. It's indecisive to me. I mean, I guess I just don't get it. Yeah, it's just kind of there. I mean, this song irritates me again because this is sort of that braying donkey school of indie. So I guess if there's anything to take away from this, I'm fine with that Tame Impala sort of soundscape thing, the soccer mommy type Liz Phair, almost singer-songwriter type stuff. I like that just fine. I love Death Cab. Where I think I fall out of indie and really dislike it is when it comes to that like Arctic Monkeys, Talking Heads, Pixies kind of style of like, you know, strangled cat type vocals. That's what I can't really get into. But I'm always willing to give it another try. So all the terrible music that you guys like and you think I will like, if only I hear the song. Oh, Finn, if you just heard this song, that would change your mind. Then you would like it. Hey, I'm always willing to give it another try. So join me next time for learning to like some other awful genre of music that you guys love. And we'll see if I ever change my mind. Maybe I will. I'm always happy to change my mind.